Chosen ones, stop saying these words. They drag you out of fifth dimension. There is something sacred happening right now. Something so profound that most people will miss it entirely while being caught up in distractions, noise, and illusions. We are at a point in history where dimensions are overlapping, realities are bending, and the bridge to the fifth dimension stands open in front of us. For the chosen ones, those who feel that inner fire, that ancient memory of a higher calling, this is our moment. But what so many don't realize is that even a single careless word can pull us right back into the density we fought so hard to rise from. Language is not just communication. Language is creation. Every word you say either anchors you in the third dimension or lifts you into the fifth. And so today, we must talk about the words you must stop saying immediately if you are serious about living as a true fifth-dimensional being. I know how subtle it is. I know how easy it is to slip. We live in a world that teaches us to speak from fear, from lack, from separation. Every time we say, "I can't," "It's too hard," "I don't deserve this," we are not just speaking negative thoughts, we are casting spells, spells that bind us to the old world, the crumbling matrix of fear and limitation. We think we're just venting, just being realistic, but in truth, we are shaping our reality with every syllable that leaves our mouths. Have you ever noticed how quickly your energy drops after complaining? How the world seems to close in on you after you say, "Nothing ever works out for me"? That is not coincidence. That is cause and effect at the most mystical, fundamental level.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
There is a reason ancient traditions guarded the power of words so fiercely. In the fifth dimension, manifestation is almost instantaneous. Thought becomes form with breathtaking speed. And when you add the vibration of spoken word to thought, you magnify its creative force 1,000-fold. That is why we must become warriors of consciousness when it comes to our language. We must train ourselves to speak only what we wish to create, only what aligns with the higher frequencies of love, abundance, truth, and unity. Anything else, anything less, becomes a chain around our own ankles. I want you to really feel this. Every complaint you make, every time you speak as a victim, every time you declare limitation, you are choosing to step out of the fifth dimension and back into the heavy, sticky swamp of the old world. You are like a bird who has learned to fly but chooses to dive back into the mud. Why would we do this to ourselves? Why would we give away the freedom we have bled and suffered and struggled to attain? The answer is simple: habit, conditioning, programming that has been fed to us since before we could even speak. Be realistic, they said. Don't get your hopes up. Life is hard. You have to struggle to survive. And so we internalized the language of limitation and made it our own, not realizing that we were cursing ourselves with every phrase. But here's the deeper truth. You are not that programming. You are not the voice of fear that echoes in your mind. You are not the smallness you were taught to accept. You are a living, breathing portal of divine energy. You are a bridge between worlds. You are a creator of realities. And if you truly knew the power you hold, every time you open your mouth, you would treat your words like sacred fire, only to be used with utmost reverence, utmost precision, utmost love. So I ask you now, from the deepest place within me, if you could create your reality with absolute certainty just by speaking it, what would you say? Would you still say, "I'm tired"? I'm broke, I'm stuck, I'll never find love, I'm not good enough? Or would you choose to speak differently? Would you dare to say, I am powerful, I am abundant, I am love, I am limitless, even when your current circumstances scream otherwise? Would you have the courage to trust that your words are the seeds of your future, that they are the blueprint the universe uses to shape your next reality? The fifth dimension is not a place you go. It is a frequency you embody. It is a state of being where fear has no power, where separation dissolves, where creation is effortless because it flows from alignment with the highest truth. But you cannot hold that frequency while speaking the language of the old world. You cannot fly while declaring yourself broken. You cannot ascend while arguing for your own limitations. Every word you speak is a choice between dimensions. Every sentence is a doorway you either open or close. And it's not just about positive thinking. It's not about plastering fake smiles over real wounds. It's about radical authenticity with a commitment to speak from your soul, not from your wounds. It's about being honest enough to say, I am healing instead of I am broken. To say, I am learning instead of I am failing. To say, I am growing through this instead of I am stuck. I know it's not easy. I know there are days when the old words feel so heavy on your tongue, so familiar, so seductive. But we are not here for ease. We are here for transformation. We are here to embody the fifth dimension so fiercely, so fully, that our very existence becomes a lighthouse for others still trapped in the storm. We are here to remember that language is not just a tool, it is a sacred act of creation, and we are here to use that act wisely, powerfully, lovingly. So, I invite you today to become a guardian of your own words, to listen not just to what you say out loud, but to what you whisper in the privacy of your own mind, to catch the words that pull you down and replace them with words that lift you up, to become a living, breathing invocation of the fifth dimension, because that is who you truly are. That is what you came here to be. The hidden language of ascension, rewiring your words for 5D reality. When we begin to understand the critical role language plays in shaping our reality, something profound happens inside of us. We realize that every word we speak is either a thread weaving the fabric of the fifth dimension or a blade tearing it apart. The fifth dimension is not about escaping to another place. It is about living from a higher state of consciousness right here, right now. It is about recognizing that our words are not reflections of reality. They are commands to the universe. They are blueprints that shape the energy fields around us. And if we do not take command of them, if we do not become conscious artists of our own language, then we unconsciously recreate the very suffering we wish to leave behind. I want you to imagine for a moment that every thought, every word, every emotional vibration you emit is like a paintbrush stroke on the canvas of your life. Are you painting a masterpiece of freedom, joy, and expansion? Or are you painting another prison cell, another cycle of limitation? Most people are trapped in repeating patterns not because they are cursed, not because they are unlucky, but because they keep speaking the same dense words that created the original pattern. They say, nothing ever changes for me. And so the universe, in perfect obedience, reflects that back to them. They say, I always get hurt. And the pattern continues, because they are unknowingly commanding it into existence. When you are living in the fifth dimension, you understand that you are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of external forces. You are a sovereign creator. And the bridge between your thoughts and your external world is your language. That is why it is not enough to simply think positively once in a while. You must live in a state of linguistic mastery. You must rewire the entire structure of your speech to align with the vibration of the world you want to inhabit. There are words and phrases that act like anchors, pulling you down into the density of separation and fear. I can't. I'm afraid. It's impossible. It's too late for me. Every time you say these things, you are stepping back into the old world, reinforcing the illusion of limitation. But there are also words that act like wings, lifting you into the higher frequencies of unity and power. I can, I trust. Everything is unfolding perfectly for me. I am limitless. These are not just affirmations, they are activations. They are vibrational keys that unlock higher realities. The process of rewiring your words for 5D reality starts with awareness. You must become a vigilant observer of your own language. You must catch yourself in the act of speaking from fear or doubt and choose differently. It's not about punishing yourself for slipping. It's about lovingly but firmly redirecting your energy. Every time you replace an old dense phrase with a new empowered one, you are literally training your consciousness to stabilize in the fifth dimension. It doesn't happen overnight. It is a daily practice, a sacred discipline, but every small shift creates ripples that expand into waves, and soon you find that your entire reality begins to reflect your inner transformation. And it's not just about the obvious words of negativity. Sometimes the most disempowering language is subtle, hidden in everyday phrases we don't even think about. When you say, "I'll try," you are leaving room for doubt. When you say, "Hopefully it'll work out," you are surrendering your power to chance. In the fifth dimension, there is no room for half-hearted energy. There is only alignment or misalignment. Certainty is not arrogance. It is spiritual alignment. It is the knowing that when you vibrate in harmony with your intention, the universe has no choice but to respond. Do you see how sacred this practice is? Do you see how every casual conversation, every internal dialogue becomes either an act of creation or destruction? Imagine if you treated every word as a prayer, every sentence as a spell, every conversation as a sacred ritual. How different would your life look? How different would you feel moving through the world? This is the hidden language of ascension. It is not flashy, it is not dramatic, it is quiet, steady, powerful. It is choosing again and again to speak as your higher self would speak. It is choosing to narrate your life from the perspective of a master, not a victim. It is choosing to describe your reality not as it appears to your physical eyes, but as it is known by your soul. And in doing so, you become the living bridge between worlds. You become the silent revolution that shifts the collective frequency without a single sermon, without a single argument. You simply live differently. You speak differently. And the world around you begins to rearrange itself to match your new vibration. So I ask you now, with all the love and urgency in my heart, Are you willing to become a master of your words, knowing that they are the seeds of your destiny? Are you willing to discipline your language with the same devotion you would give to a sacred ceremony? Are you willing to become the living proof that speaking from the fifth dimension is not just possible, it is inevitable for those who choose it? This is the path of the chosen ones. Not the easy path, not the path of comfort, but the path of mastery, the path of creation, the path of becoming what we were always meant to be. Conscious, powerful, radiant beings who shape reality with every breath, every thought, every word. Of the words you must banish forever to anchor your 5D power. There are certain words and phrases that no longer belong to us as chosen ones. They are relics of a dying world, echoes of a consciousness rooted in fear, separation, and limitation. If we are truly serious about stabilizing ourselves in the fifth dimension, if we are truly committed to embodying the highest frequency of our soul, then we must be ruthless about the words we allow to live in our mind and on our tongue, because whether we realize it or not, every word we speak is a declaration of allegiance to the old world or the new one, to fear or to love, to illusion or to truth. The first words we must banish are words of self-doubt. I can't. I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to do this. These are not just statements of insecurity, they are spells of confinement. Every time we utter them, we are building walls around ourselves, walls that separate us from the limitless power that is our birthright. In the fifth dimension, there is no such thing as I can't. If something is not flowing, it is not because you are incapable, it is because something within you is out of vibrational harmony, and that can be adjusted, that can be healed, but not while you are speaking words that chain you to impossibility. So the second set of words we must eliminate are words of victimhood. Why does this always happen to me? Nobody understands me. Life is so unfair. These phrases may feel temporarily comforting because they allow us to avoid responsibility, but they come with a devastating cost. They reinforce the illusion that we are powerless, that life is something happening to us rather than through us. In the fifth dimension, we recognize that we are co-creators. Every experience, even the painful ones, is a mirror and a teacher. We do not ask, why is this happening to me? We ask, what is this revealing within me? That one shift in language opens the door to miracles. We must also be vigilant about words of scarcity. I can't afford that. There's never enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. These phrases are rooted in the third dimensional illusion of lack. In the fifth dimension, abundance is not something you chase, it is something you align with. It is a frequency, a natural state of being, and every time you speak scarcity, you are tuning your vibration to the radio station of poverty, lack, and fear. Imagine instead saying, I am in the process of expanding my abundance. I trust the universe to meet my needs. I live in an abundant universe and I am always supported. Feel the difference in your energy even as you read those words. That is the power we are working with. Negative prophecies must be banished as well. This is going to be a disaster. I just know it won't work out. I'm probably going to fail. When we speak these words, we are using our divine creative power to summon the very outcomes we fear. We are the prophecy makers of our own lives. Why would we use that sacred power to build futures we don't want? Instead, we must speak life into our dreams. Ide, I am creating success. Everything is unfolding perfectly. I am guided by divine intelligence. Again, it is not about denying challenges. It is about choosing to narrate our life from a place of empowerment rather than fear. And perhaps the most insidious words we must eliminate are words of resignation. It is what it is. That's just the way things are. People never change. These phrases are poison to a fifth-dimensional being. They declare that transformation is impossible, that reality is fixed, that we are stuck in an unchangeable script. Nothing could be further from the truth. Reality is fluid. People are evolving. Every moment is a new opportunity for radical transformation. When we say, I am open to miracles, I believe in change, I trust in the power of transformation, we are opening doorways that the old phrases slammed shut. So I ask you now, with all the intensity and love I can summon, are you willing to relinquish the language of the old world? Are you willing to discipline your mouth and your mind with the same devotion you would give to a sacred temple? Because that is what your consciousness is, a temple, and the words you speak within it determine whether it becomes a sanctuary of light or a prison of fear. Every time you catch yourself about to say an old, dense phrase, stop, breathe, choose again. Speak from your higher self, not your wounded self. Speak from your vision, not your fear. Speak from your soul, not your programming. This is the daily practice that turns ordinary beings into fifth-dimensional masters. This is the invisible work that creates visible miracles. Becoming the living word. How 5D language manifests miracles instantly. There comes a point on the path where language and being are no longer separate, where the words you speak are not just sounds passing through your lips, they are living extensions of your essence. In the fifth dimension, this is the ultimate mastery, to become the living word, to speak not from thought alone, but from the deepest alignment with the source within you. When you reach this state, manifestation is no longer a slow, uncertain process. It becomes instantaneous, effortless, inevitable. Because in the fifth dimension, reality bends itself around the clarity of who you are, not just what you say. You and I, we have glimpsed this power already. Remember the times when you declared something boldly, with absolute certainty, and it seemed to materialize almost magically? It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the universe responding to the vibration of a being who, even for a moment, spoke with perfect coherence between heart, mind, and spirit. Imagine living every day from that place. Imagine every word you speak being carried on the wings of pure creation, sculpting your reality with elegance and precision. But to live this way demands radical integrity. It demands that you speak only what you are prepared to live. No more casual lies, no more exaggerations, no more empty promises. Every word must be a mirror of your soul's highest truth. Because in 5D, the gap between your vibration and your manifestation is almost non-existent. If you speak contradictions, you will manifest contradictions. If you speak half-truths, you will live half. Only full alignment brings full power. This is why it becomes so important to slow down, to listen deeply before speaking, to feel the resonance of your words before they leave your mouth. Ask yourself constantly, does this word reflect who I truly am? Does this statement honor the reality I am choosing to create? Am I speaking from fear, or am I speaking from love? Every time you pause and choose consciously, you strengthen your field, you crystallize your vibration, you step deeper into the effortless flow of fifth-dimensional living. And it is not only about speaking externally, it is about the silent words you speak within, the inner conversations you have when no one else can hear. If your outer words are beautiful but your inner dialogue is saturated with doubt, fear, and self-judgment, you are still divided. The true mastery is when your inner language and your outer language are one, pure, strong, unwavering in their devotion to truth and love. We are not asked to be perfect, we are asked to be conscious, to be willing, to choose again and again the higher vibration, even when the lower one feels easier or more familiar. It is in these daily, seemingly small choices that the great transformations happen. It is not in grand declarations once a year, but in the quiet, steady commitment to becoming the living expression of the fifth dimension through every word, every thought, every breath. Imagine a world where every being spoke only from their highest self, where every conversation uplifted, every sentence created beauty, every word carried the frequency of unconditional love. That world is not a fantasy. It is a reality waiting to be born through us. You and I are the midwives of that new earth. We are the ones who have been called to remember, to embody, to speak it into existence. So I ask you now, one final sacred question. Are you ready to become the living word? Are you ready to let every syllable you utter be an act of creation that honors who you truly are? Are you ready to speak light into a world still tangled in shadows? To sing truth into a field clouded by illusions? To weave the fifth dimension into the very fabric of reality with the language of your soul? If the answer is yes, then you are no longer just a seeker, you are a creator, you are a master, you are the living word. And the miracles you have been waiting for are already waiting for you, trembling just beyond the veil, ready to rush into your life the moment you speak them into being with the full power of your awakened heart. The fifth dimension is not coming. It is here. It is you. Speak it into existence. Live it into form. Be it boldly, beautifully,